What's up, everybody? This is BakaBites. I'm Frankfurter, that is Magically Average, and today we're talking about the Symposium for the Sustainable Development of Japan's Anime Industry, a growth strategy focused on human resource development and
Uh,
overseas market expansion.
we've lost. Okay,
Yeah, okay. If you want to restart it, that's fine. I was mostly
we're
saying it as
talking.
a joke.
No, it's fine. It's fine. People don't listen to this podcast anyway. Um,
If they got past that, wonderful. Thank you for sticking around. No, basically, Japan had their annual symposium for the anime industry of
like
how
monthly.
we can, or is
It's
monthly. You're
monthly.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, they just go over, what's might be plaguing the industry, how to grow the industry, and just basically just the state of the industry and how they can do better.
It's effectively a open conversation across the industry to improve and perform better in a competitive market. And that's great. That's good. It means we're pushing forward and trying new things and limit testing production studios capabilities on and like how they can make anime and animation quality and distribution of the anime overseas, and it's all a bunch of great stuff. But the reason why we're talking about it is because everyone took from this, well, those that could either read Japanese or translated it, took from this comments made by George Wada, who is the studio president for production IG and WIT, that basically Mr. Wada called for a Japanese Anime Awards, likely as a response to the Crunchyroll Awards that had just taken place when the symposium happened. So that's what everyone made a huge fuss about his comments and ignored everything else. But we're going to talk about the everything else as well.
Yeah, because the Crunchyroll Awards, it will lead into another discussion that we will have in another week. Not necessarily next week, just in a sense, like another time we will be discussing that, and yeah, so look forward to that. But yeah, just kind of going down this list, we'll start at the first one with the Nippon Animation. But the representative director Kazuko Ishikawa spoke about the need to train new animators, develop human resources, digitize animation production, strengthen overseas collaboration, and create more regional bases. In parentheses, after that last one is most anime studios are in Tokyo. Now, we downloaded this not entire, but we downloaded this PDF file that kind of goes over these comments and whatnot. And you said it was what, 600 some odd out of 800 are in Tokyo?
Yeah, there's 811 studios in Japan. 692, which is 85% of them, are based in Tokyo alone. So I think there's a call for a kind of a diversification of where these studios are based. Um, Even within Tokyo, there's 103 in just one centralized area too. There's actually
Yeah.
there's 149 in another area. So it's like it's obviously Tokyo is the biggest city. It's one of the biggest cities in the entire world. So it doesn't surprise anyone to have that many studios in one location, especially with it being sort of the not epicenter, but like the poster city for what people think anime is based. It's like you think of Tokyo. So,
Yeah.
um, but it
Which I
does
think there
bring
would be a lot of benefits of putting it in smaller, not necessarily towns, but smaller cities. Just for the fact that cost of living is down, is going to be a lot easier, and just
yeah. I mean,
I feel like that there's more charm to it than just living in the city.
yeah. I mean, there's probably significant benefits of being elsewhere outside of Tokyo. I think one is you kind of get a nice, I guess, little slice of an area of Japan that might be neglected in a lot of anime, and you could potentially use that as like, hey, let's try to find creators that are in this area that have anime based in this area, and we can highlight it because we're familiarized with this portion of Japan. That's a lot of like what the appeal I find in anime these days. Is like when they have you get to little perspective on one specific area of Japan that's usually not captured because it's always Tokyo or Kyoto or whatever. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
for the purposes of just the human element to it, which is what the large portion of this symposium was based on, was human development, is expanding outside of the major cities and trying to capture some of those smaller cities in order to entice those to move into that area, right? That's a big thing too. As we've talked about before, and I'm sure if you're on social media and you're like myself, you follow all these channels about like houses in Japan, cheap houses in Japan, local rural akiyas, so abandoned houses in Japan. It's like it's a real problem. It's an epidemic of people like leaving the countryside, leaving more rural areas, and going to the bigger cities because it's where all of the jobs are. And so this is kind of a commentary on that, plus in like trying to ensure that they're not oversaturating one area of Japan with the entirety of their animation studios. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting uh report out. The we'll have it included in our description as well for anyone who's nerdy enough to read it. Losers.
Yeah. My only concern with just
Uh,
like I would
you
say
let me just leave
putting it
off on
in.
calling everyone okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I would say my one concern about maybe like not necessarily going out into like small towns, but like other major cities. The only call out is that yeah, if you are like that is the industry you want to be in, and like say there are layoffs, or the next project you're a freelancer and you want to work on something else, and
Oh
it's in
yeah.
another town, like you do have to worry about moving and all that jazz, or finding
There's
work outside your industry if you don't get a job.
there's so many
Um,
significant risks, I think. I mean,
yeah, there's the
not even the layoff piece, but there's also just you don't have the convenient access of being in a major city where like you can take a train or two around and you're at like one of your clients, right? Or you can't like sometimes it's a lot of in Japanese culture, a lot of the times it's more appropriate to meet in person when you have business meetings, like if you can, rather than doing it over
yeah,
conference calls. So being in a major city is convenient for that aspect too. But if you move more outside of that area into more of a rural area, then that becomes less ideal. You're looking at, hours of travel time, less production, yada yada. So yeah, I mean, there's a number of cons too. There's plenty of pros, but it's an interesting analysis, and that this monthly topic was generated, what I assume to be generated from the 2025 analysis, which if we ever talk about statistics on this show of like, oh, the anime industry grew by X percentage, or here's the revenue stream for anime across seas, like I almost can guarantee that it's from the Association of Japanese Animations, because they meet, like I said, monthly in an open
yeah,
conversation symposium style to talk through these types of issues. So yeah, so this specific one, the most recent one where the president of Production IG and Wit Studio made those comments, was specifically around the growth strategy for human resource development and overseas market expansion. So part of that conversation is like, hey, we're seeing a decline or some hindrance to our human workforce. How do we improve that? How can we implement new strategies to uh, encourage and reinforce the need for these individuals while also not, completely shutting them off from their families, locking them in a basement and forcing them to work 5,000 hours a week,
yeah,
just to meet times. And then also the aspect of the overseas market, which the director or representative from Nippon Animation, as you said, talked about it too. The Nippon Animation director was funny. You read through everything. They talked about quite literally everything that was on the docket. They didn't pick one thing. They're like, I'm talking about everything. I'm leading the charge. New
I mean, to be
animators,
fair, they are if I remember correctly, Nippon Animation is like the
big.
government run. like animation studio.
Yeah, I'm sure they
So
probably have like head seat or one of the like the primary board of
yeah,
directors or whatever for this association specifically. But yeah,
yeah. I do find it interesting that they were saying that, last year Japanese anime sales overseas reached 2.2 trillion yen, which surpassed domestic sales, and that they're aiming for, at least in the anime sector, because Tens is the company. They're trying to reach 20 trillion by 2033, but at least 6 trillion of that being in anime sales. So I do find that quite interesting. But I think that the most interesting piece of this to me is the develop human resources. I think it's somewhere further down, and I'm going to just kind of read ahead real quick. Um, I could have swore I saw
I mean,
something
there's
about having like a
there,
standardized like training for like
yeah,
animators,
they talk
which
about training human resources as a key, and they say that they can
oh, it
analyze
was the first
issues.
point on this.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I can read just a quote that's kind of nice from the Anime Industry Report 2025. They say, mainstream Japanese anime production style is a process that starts with the production company. The prime contractor receives production from the client, such as production committee, and the work is created internally. In other words, most prime contractor production companies share the production resources. However, as the anime business continues to be in favorable conditions, the number of plans for new anime have increased, which is what we've been saying for quite some time now, and so
Yep.
has the demand for high quality works.
Yep.
Uh, they go in to say it's great for creators, getting an increase in payment for their labor. It also is connected to fatigue at production companies, which we've also noted. It's been documented, right? Um,
Yeah.
they finished by saying, while labor shortages are a major problem, large production companies are moving forward with increasing the number of employees and training their personnel. They were originally working with finances to spare, so it is considered an investment in an industry that has fluid personnel to begin with. So that's good. I mean, like basically what that last sentence says in a very jumbled, like business jargony mess is basically saying these companies now have the capital in place to start investing in the labor side of their production of anime. Like whereas
Right.
before they were like maybe this is my own scars coming me showing my own scars as an attorney, but like they like people working on anime were probably always viewed as I can surmise, I guess, from kind of reports and everything, as more of a not a liability, but like a revenue loss as revenue gained, right?
Yeah.
Because they only saw the salary that they were having to pay them, less so the profits that they were going to be generating for the anime. So, kind of like in my position where it's like as a lawyer working in a company, people only look at me and it's like, "Well, yeah, you help us out, but only when we get in trouble and, like you're just making a sale. You're not making sales. You're not making product. You're just here to cover our ass, and that's all you're good for us." You know what I mean?
You're just a paper pusher.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of. But now, as the art as the report states, those labor, those areas of production are now being invested in with that excess capital they have. And I mean, they note that it is, I want to use the exact verbiage because I liked it, that the industry has fluid personnel to begin with, i.e., they shift around production company to production company, studio to studio. I think it is at least uplifting to know that companies are actually saying, look, we've we are experiencing a surge in profits from domestic and overseas consumption of anime. We have excess capital. Let's invest it in the people rather than like new technology or expanding like into another building or doing all of these other things that at the in the interim or the short term might be nice but long term might be more detrimental. if you're losing those
Yeah.
workers. So I think that's good because again, it goes to that whole majority, not majority, but the primary topic at hand, which is the development of those human resources. Which I know people are probably confused, like why do they keep talking about human resources? It's like it's not human resources how we think of it. It's not HR. It's not like you sexually harass someone. Like don't. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's
It's
the
like
literal people.
resource.
Yeah, the people as resources. So those that are working as animators or designers or sound or whatever touch up.
Yeah.
So um so
I
I mean
think
that's good.
one of the interesting bits for me for this specific conversation is that the utilization of overseas human resources. So to me, that in production networks within overseas, like I know that we've been talking about like yes, overseas consumption is good, but I think this is now the point where they're like, hey, each I feel like production company we've talked about it in the past before, they to a degree have to go out and do um wow, I just blanked on it when somebody freelance work. They have to hire freelancers.
Hmm.
So I think that like them establishing some sort of not necessarily test, I'll say, but like establishing a sort of, for the lack of a better word, test. Um and once you pass it, you being like, hey, this person is a verified person who can work on anime, etc. Like they've put in their hours or they've passed the test, they've proven their selves rather than it's like you're on Twitter, they're the director's on Twitter and they're like, "Hey, I like your artwork. Can you be an animator? Can you do these?" And just fucking hire somebody from Twitter. I feel like that's kind of a more interesting way of putting it and thinking like, "Hey, put together this test or put together this program to get people verified in order to cut down on just like freelancers that might not be up to snuff, that might not be able to produce the quote unquote higher quality works that people are looking for. Because yeah, every season we discuss, every freaking season preview we've done, there are more and more shows. And that's not going away anytime soon. I don't believe. So
Hmm.
I feel like with that you do need the more quality work because the less quality it is, the less people are going to watch it. And I've definitely fallen off of shows because of how bad quality is, whether it be voice acting or animation quality. Because God, animation quality can be very bad in today's day and age of anime, and that's
Yeah.
because there is so much. So I think that establishing again a program to get people qualified or seal of approval is a great idea, especially for overseas freelancers.
I think it also I, how do I want to just say this without getting skewered? Because I know a lot of people. I know a lot of. I'm gonna. I guess I'm gonna also. I'm gonna make people mad. I might as well just insult them all around. For casual fans, the one of the biggest aspects of an anime is centered around the animation quality, right?
Yeah.
And like for many people that watch it too, it can put a damper on a show, but certain ones you can look past if this, if the story's really good, it's engaging. There's some aspect that's at least enticing to it that makes it unique, and you can overlook the animation quality. But for a lot, animation quality can be kind of a make or break for a series. I think with the emphasis on training human resources that they talked about and they're now investing in, it's almost as if the industry is kind of setting a baseline standard for what animation quality should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because
No, I
I
agree because God knows they don't want another One Punch Man fiasco on their hands, let alone beginning after the end, I believe is the
the end,
series.
yeah,
I mean,
the
yeah,
day
I'm
after
fucking watching it.
tomorrow,
I
end
should know it.
after whatever.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
pretty sure it's the beginning after the end. Like those two series specifically, like have gotten a lot of flack within the recent months, let alone years, because of the quality, despite the fact that the story is incredible.
Well,
So it's yeah,
and I think those like it's a very 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 tiny like pool of shows like that in a massive ocean of anime, right? But those two are examples of series that have a large following behind them, are kind of premier.
yeah,
I'd say premier, I guess, without.
idols,
Yeah, they're not just pulled out from sort of the.
the ether. They're no reborn as a vending machine.
They also have a fan base outside of Japan too, because a lot of series that air don't have series like manga that's been released in English, or elsewhere in the world too, right? So a lot of the
Yeah,
times you're trying to capture just your Japanese audience, and then in the hopes that maybe it's enticing enough for overseas audiences that you'll grab their attention too, and then maybe later they'll pick up the manga, right? But for One Punch Man and the beginning after tomorrow, the day for yesterday,
the
whatever,
end. Yeah,
um, like both of those series were released in English, have a following here, in the United States. And so with how poorly they were received, well, One Punch Man season 3 and then the first season of the other series too, like it puts kind of a hit, I think, on the global revenue that it could be generated. So
yeah,
with the emphasis on training, I think the idea is like, look, like there should be not black and white hardline rule, but I think the emphasis is on there should be kind of a baseline expectation for what quality we're producing. Every studio should have its own identity and its own kind of unique thumbprint on their animation style. But in terms of the quality, we should all be in agreement that there is a industry expectation or an industry standard that we're trying to strive for in order to for the betterment of the consumption of the anime, but also to encourage the improvement and progression of quality moving forward, right? We don't
right.
want like a handful of studios to be leading the way and everyone else to be just kind of stuck in the mud, not struggling, not able to figure things out, and they're staying alive because they're just, they're barely scraping by and they're the ones that are dragging the whole industry down. It's like, no, we want everyone to be lifted up, moving together forward. There's going to be some that are leading the charge, for one reason or another, but we want everyone to at least be moving in line with one another and going towards improving
A
and
better goal.
yeah, for
Yeah,
the betterment of the industry, rather than having like a few stragglers behind that everyone has to lift up, from their own revenue and growth. Plus,
yeah.
I mean,
Like
if you,
if you're if oh go no
I was just gonna say, if you look at like anime, the credits for a lot of anime these days, and especially in movies, there's like a bunch of different studios that are all involved. So even if like something is
yeah,
made by Cloverworks, you've got like 5 to 7 other studios that have their hands in it as well, right? And so you want all of those that you're working with too to be at that same level and be providing you with that same set expectation for quality that you're putting out. You don't want to
right.
be discarding some of them because you're like, "Oh, they're notorious for fucking up the job." Right?
Yeah, so like if you're working for MAPPA, you should be at least expected to draw squares very, very well for your action scenes. If you're working for Science Seru, you better be able to do about 15 different art styles. And then if you work for Gohans, you better be really damn good at drawing hair and thighs.
Yeah. Is Trigger the iconic
I would
chewing? There's like an iconic chewing of the characters that everyone talks
I don't
about.
know that one.
It's like it's done
That
in
one is lost on me.
I think it's done in 4 or 5 different movements, whereas traditionally it's like 2, I think. I want to say it was something that I heard at their panel 2 years ago at MomoCon as they talked about the like iconic chewing of Trigger. You can always tell something is Trigger based on the chewing of their characters, like how their characters chew food. I thought that was funny, but
Huh. That is
are
interesting.
you looking?
I've never heard of that. I'm like
Yeah.
trying to Google it just or just like
No, it's probably not like
research it, but yeah.
it's probably not something that people like like talk about, but it's something that I heard and I was like, I never actually noticed that. But then they showed clips and I'm like, oh, look at that. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, so
like
I'll be damned.
it is it's a I read this and I'm like, wow, this is it's so impressive that this is done in is, you know, a collaborative effort amongst all these different studios because I mean at the end of the day they're
They are
you know,
competitors.
yeah, exactly. Like they're fighting with one another. I, mean, I use fighting as a very charged word, but for lack of a better one, they're competing with one another for
Yeah,
work, for new series, right?
for your time and attention
Yeah.
and your
So
hard-earned dollar.
and but encouraging to say the least that there is an emphasis industry wide that we need to improve and continue progressing the industry forward collaboratively and not kind of in this cutthroat capitalistic style approach, right? Which is what we see a lot here in the United States, which is wait, you want us to do what with who now? No, I'd rather just
Yeah,
eat them alive, take their children, make sure they're
which I think
destitute for the rest of their lives. Like,
which I think is a good segue into, like, the remainder of these kinda topics, which is more
yeah.
so, like, on marketing and, kind of not necessarily expansion, but just more so joint ventures with, overseas markets in the sense of, like, how do we get more out there? Because no, I don't think I'm allowed to talk about that, so I won't talk about that. That's a personal thing that I'm not allowed to talk about. Anyways,
Okay. That was
so
very
I
cryptic.
let's yeah, I'll tell you off camera. Uh, maybe. But no, marketing wise, I think is an interesting one because really there's not a whole ton of marketing. Like I called you last night at the or after well, as I was driving home after the Crunchyroll sneak peek night, which if you don't know, made a very short video about it and I can plug that later. But long of it short, a month before the new anime season starts, Crunchyroll has basically been putting in out like episode ones for the coming up season for like select shows that'll be on Crunchyroll a month early, essentially. So it's like a one night only in theaters. And, you know, before the show kind of started or the shows started, they did have a thing of just like, hey, every third Monday is anime night for Crunchyroll, and they're putting out something. So it's either movie of some sort or doing these sneak previews. So like the next 2 months, I think next week or next month, not next week. Next month is going to be like something for the 10th anniversary of Mob Psycho 100. And then the month following that is a movie that I had never heard of. That I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, no, I'll show up for these. Like the last previous 2 months were things that I just didn't wanna watch. It was, like, an older I think it was the second first no, the first Reincarnated as a Slime, like, movie, which
Mhm.
great, wonderful, have fun with that.
Mhm.
Not my like, I love the show, but, like, I don't really necessarily care about the movies, which are non-canon. And then the one after that, which was last month, was the fucking Attack on Titan two-part final season, final part, final butthole, clobbered together.
Yeah.
And I was just like, great, I don't need to see that either. So like, I hope that Crunchyroll can learn from that. But like, back to marketing, it's just like there really isn't a huge budget. I feel like for marketing out here, there's not a lot of it. It's like you basically go to an anime con, and that's about it. Like, that's all the
Ca
marketing that I really see for anime.
so, mm, how do I wanna talk about this? Because I I have thoughts on marketing, and my thought is that marketing is just a ploy to get stupid people that can't think for themselves to ingest something. And to get a marketing degree, you just need to be uh d- just barely smart enough to think for yourself but not smart enough to actually think in a constructive manner. I'm sorry if you're a marketing major or if you have a marketing degree and you work in marketing. I don't mean to sound insulting or pompous as an attorney. um but I find marketing to be so aggravated. The amount of marketing classes I had to take where the lessons learned were just like, well, duh, was
Yeah.
aggravating. But to your point though on marketing, I think it's challenging here because I don't know how you could market in a efficient and strategic manner for anime specifically. Like if you're Crunchyroll, you're not putting up commercials on TV. You're not putting up billboards. You're not putting up ads in like magazines or you know I was gonna say
But
newspapers, but
that's
I
the
was like, I
thing.
don't think newspapers
I,
exist anymore. Like I just I don't know their marketing strategy has to align with their primary base of consumers, which is just those that are online. So it's like advertise on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, which they do. Like they do have advertisements there. I see them from time to time.
I
Like,
never see them.
oh yeah, I see
At
them.
least on YouTube. But
Yeah. So but like to your point too, advertise at conventions. I mean, they sponsor a number of conventions, so obviously they're already plastered there, but like I think it's also weird because for Crunchyroll itself, they don't need to advertise Crunchyroll. I think what we're more asking for and what we've complained about numerous times, not only about with regarding Crunchyroll, but also like Netflix and Hulu and everything, is the lack of advertisement, or better yet, the lack of attention given to premier AAA anime series that are airing on those platforms. Crunchyroll, it's hard because Crunchyroll is just like they host a slew of new anime each and every season. So it's like you're gonna always see the most popular or highly rated ones at the top when you open up the app or go to the web page, right? But then you're going to scroll down and
yeah.
see like here's what's airing or here's what's trending or here's our weird random categories that some incel put together late in the morning or late at night while just cranked on 3 cans of Monster. Like that's what they do. Netflix Netflix is commits crimes against anime whenever they get a series because they never advertise it. It's just you got to search for it endlessly. It's infuriating. Not even going to talk about Hulu because that's just a shit show in itself. Hulu/Disney Plus is a
Yeah.
travesty. And then Amazon Prime. If I ever have to watch an Amazon Prime show again, I'm just gonna say fuck it. I'll watch it
Well, you're
somewhere
gonna have to
else.
watch an Amazon Prime. Fuck me.
Whew.
Wow, did I
That
have a
was touch.
stroke
That
on
was
camera or
touch and go there
what?
for a second.
No kidding. You will be watching an Amazon Prime show next season. So sorry about
Which
that.
one is that?
Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, god damn it. Whatever. Um,
But no, I think that like me specifically when I think like, hey, advertising. Yeah, the Chronically Online is basically going to be your fan base. They are going to be the people that show up and watch things week to week, month to month, season to season.
mhm.
But then there are things that are like the movies. So like when they were doing the Jujutsu Kaisen Shibuya incident, like movie, the marketing behind that is so atrociously bad. Nobody, like half the people that showed up didn't know what they were seeing. They thought it was new episodes, but it wasn't.
Oh, I
And then the other half was they were just the diehard fans that actually can read somehow. Um,
well, okay,
but I
hang
do
on.
think
Time
like
out. Time out. We need to distinguish between marketing, advertising, and like just purely I, I don't know, like descriptions of what is airing. I think that's a distinction. Like, because I was gonna agree with you up until you brought up the JJK thing. Like, Crunchyroll does a horrendous job, a heinous job at doing any sort of convincing marketing to get you to go watch these things in person. Like when you were like, "Oh, tomorrow," or you were telling me about the Crunchyroll
the sneak
premiere.
peek.
Yeah, like that was yesterday. I'm like, I forgot that even happened. I didn't even see it on their website. Like it was just I didn't see it anywhere. I think I got an email about it randomly like a month ago, and they were like, "Get your tickets now," and I'm like, I'm probably not going to, and that was it. Like when they do when they are the sponsor for, or you know, the ones that are promoting movies that are coming out in theaters for, like, oh, this is your limited time opportunity to watch or, you know, rewatch this movie back in theaters. Like, one,
Yeah.
where I'm from, the closest theater that usually will always do this is like 35, 45 minutes away from me. So I'm like, it's already a hike to begin with, and I'm just don't want to do it. It's always in the middle of the week. It's always like, it's on a Thursday. And I'm like, why? Why? And they're like, and it's only for that one Thursday. So have fun. Just like, okay, no, I'm not, there's no point. So like
Yeah,
there's
it's
that
it's
aspect
definitely a
too.
little bit easier for me to do that because,
Yeah. I mean, you live
Funimation was based out here and
and
they
you
do a
live
lot of
more
things out here.
you live close-ish or to a bigger
I'm
city. I mean,
I'm
like my
about
city.
I'm a little closer than you are to your major city,
Yeah.
but not by much.
But I, I think going back to what I was
Could
originally going to address, when it comes to like marketing and advertising, we just we just don't have the like level of integration. Maybe integration is not the right word. We don't have this like embedment of anime into any other industry within the United States. Like when I went to Japan, and you were in Japan too this year, but like
Yeah,
when I was there,
it's everywhere.
it's everything. Like it's collaborations with convenience stores, collaborations with cafes, it's collaborations with just general stores, it's specific like pop-up places, it's attractions
With little
like
museums, the tiny
yeah,
museum had, like, the Evangelion site.
yep. Yeah, like some of them will just be like, here's a pop-up at a mall. Like where there's a small pop-up at a mall, but but it'll be advertised on billboards and other places away from the mall. Like it won't just be like, oh, I randomly found this thing in the mall. It's like, oh no, I knew about this going in because I saw all these ads for it. Like
Yeah,
it's
and for us,
so
it'd be, like, online only.
yeah. It's ours is so limited and like restricted to just whatever is the closest in proximity to anime, like for a hobby, right? Like our collabs and our like the big advertisement things are like when anime does stuff with Round One, the bowling and crane game arcade, right? Which is
Yeah,
also a Japanese company. Um, like we get I get ads for that. I get like all the collaborations for that. We get some for like some of the clothing brands that are closely tied with like Japan fashion, streetwear, or you know, anime wear to begin with, right? Like
right.
we don't get that type of meshing with other industries in the United States because it's just it's not normal here. Like it's so abnormal. But in Japan, it's seamless, right? Oh, J- McDonald's is doing another collaboration. Last month it was with Neon Genesis. This month it's JJK. It's like that's normal. McDonald's here, it's like I don't even know. Have you? This is a side note. Have you seen anything about McDonald's kids? Remember when McDonald's kids stuff used to have like awesome
Commercials on
toys?
TV?
Yeah, they used to have commercials
Well,
on
that
TV,
did
and the
let alone
toys used to
that,
be
yeah.
great. Yeah, I don't even know
Yeah,
what like what gets kids in these days. Like they're
I
not their
mean, the
shitty
only
hamburgers
because
and
like
their pink slime chicken nuggets.
well, to be fair, the occasional times that I do go to In and Out, Jesus Christ, McDonald's whenever I forget to pack a lunch for work, it's all, like, weird celebrity meals. The most
Oh,
recent
that's
thing that I
right.
can the most recent thing that I can remember seeing there was that they did a collaboration with, K-pop Demon Hunter, and they had,
Oh
like,
yeah,
the Demon Hunter meal and the Huntrix meal and, like,
you're
the
right.
other
That might honestly be the closest thing we've gotten. I mean, there was the Rick and Morty thing forever ago with the Szechuan sauce or whatever.
yeah,
They did Wednesday. I know, like maybe Wednesday was with Wendy's. I want to say or something like. But that's Netflix again.
beats me.
K-pop Demon Hunter was Netflix. I also remember. Don't ask me why. I was watching another YouTuber and they were doing like a food review thing and like ranking burgers, and they got McDonald's, and McDonald's was doing a promotion for Angel Reese, the WNBA player, and I'm like,
Yep.
what? Angel Reed, like what the fuck? What is happening? What are they massacred my boy. What happened?
AKA Me Bound.
Yeah. God, her highlights
Anyways,
are hilarious to watch. But no, I
dude,
just
that
like
one guy is fucking hilarious. Yeah.
I just it I don't we don't get that. And again, like it sounds like every other week when we talk about things like this, like these types of topics, it's just us complaining like we're just not like Japan. It's so different from Japan. But
Yeah.
it is weird though, and this is a good segue. It's weird though when we try to be like Japan but do it in such a like a egotistical me style. So talking through the symposium, we have all these incredible directors and presidents, CEOs from all these different animation production studios coming together and talking about like A1 Pictures talked about business structures and companies that are part of a broader group. So like A1 is to Aniplex, the Sony group, talking about like how they work operationally within that type of infrastructure. MAPPA's CEO came out and talked about how they to self-fund series because Chainsaw Man the anime was MAPPA self-funded, so they talked about growth strategies and in-house IP management. Tohei talked about targeting the global audience with different works, addressing piracy issues. Like, there's all these incredible topics that they talked about in an open setting, right? And then we flash to Crunchyroll being like, we want to do that, but better. We're going to invite the powerhouses of the anime industry day before exclusive event, day before AnimeNYC in October. It's all about us. We're the spotlight of the anime industry in the US, but we're going to be the global leaders. Man, and I'm like why? It's so
Yeah.
like
It's tone deaf.
it's tone deaf. It just feels like you're fueling this like egotistical narcissistic type entity that thinks it's so much better than what it is. It's got this like weirdly inflated personality that's just exuding. And it's like it's such a like a grotesque look on the part of Crunchyroll, especially when they're inviting like leaders of the anime industry from Japan to come to this we'll call it in quotation symposium. It's really just like a big me event for Crunchyroll to gloat about how they're the poster child of the anime industry in the United States. But
Yeah.
like it's so frustrating. Like every time we're thinking, oh, things are starting to improve here in the United States or just in North America in general, like we're starting to really take what we've learned from other leaders in this industry and translate it over to the domestic market. And then Crunchyroll just does this shit, and you're just like, all right, well, one step forward, fucking tumble backwards down the stairs, hit your head 5 times back. So fuck me running, I guess. I don't know.
Yep. And thank you all for joining us this week. We
No, that
greatly
was
appreciate it.
such an abrupt. There was no segue. I thought you were
Yeah,
gonna
I
talk
tried to
too.
think.
I thought you were gonna talk. I was like, what a weird note to leave off on. That was bad. I'm gonna keep talking. We're not ending on that. That's
No,
bullshit.
fine. No, I think that, I mean, because again, I don't really have much more to say that you haven't already said. Like, a lot of things, like Crunchyroll is definitely the definition of tone deaf, especially since kind of Sony has taken over. Like, the product has gotten shittier and the call is coming within the house.
Yeah.
I think that there are things that Crunchyroll does well. I think that them getting out into the movie theaters and getting people into the movies, because again, that thing last night was a sold out event. Like,
Yeah.
granted, it was a very small theater. Like, there were probably 5 rows with like 12 seats a row, but it was sold out. Every fucking seat was like, there was a button every single seat.
Which is
So,
good.
like, which is great. You love to see it. I love going to events like that where you are involved in like a community thing. Like, one of the shows that was shown off was season 2, episode 1 of the fucking Skeleton Knight in Another World or whatever the
Oh
crap
yeah.
that show was.
I love that
And
show.
when the hosts were like, here are the shows that we're showing tonight, and they listed off that one, some dude in the crowd just started applauding. I was
It's like,
just like,
"Yeah!" That was
"What the
me.
fuck?" I didn't think that there was such a big fanboy for that type of show, but it's just like it just goes to show, like, yeah, there's a target audience for everything. So, like, I think that there are things that Crunchyroll does incredibly well, and then there are things that they do that are so insanely tone deaf. Which I know the original topic that this article kind of headlines we didn't talk about, but that is one of them. I think that the Crunchyroll Awards, they tried to do good, and it started off good, and then Sony took over, and it is just the product has just gotten shittier.
Yeah.
I think that there are fixes that they need to do. In the sense of their application, in the sense of their marketing, and just other smaller things that they can do better on. But I don't know how much of it is Crunchyroll and how much of it is Sony just breathing down their necks. So,
I
that would be another interesting kind of thing to analyze if we ever get the chance to, which we never
yeah,
will.
yeah. I
But
mean,
I I do like a part of me, like, I know you say like, oh, like they're not gonna go out and put things on billboards. Like a part of me is like, I want to see that. I want to see the shit on billboards. Like I want to be driving down the highway, see a billboard, and be like, Ninja Scroll coming back to theaters for its 35th anniversary, which I think it's either 30 or 35th. I don't know, but it is. It's coming. Like the only reason I know about it is because I got an email from like Fathom Events or whatever the fuck that just say like, hey, Ninja Scroll's coming back to theaters for like a weekend
mhm.
because of its anniversary. And I'm just like, hell yeah, that's awesome. It's like when Perfect Blue comes back to theaters because it's like, just for whatever reason, like they're releasing the 4K or it's an anniversary year for it. Like, I love it when they do that. But like, a part of me is just like, I would never know if I weren't signed up for, notifications or emails or whatever. So yeah, part of me does want to see that on billboards. I want to see like, hey, Perfect Blue coming back to theaters for its 30th anniversary, 35th anniversary, whatever anniversary it is. Because like that shit is interesting to me. And like even for people who are like, what the hell is Perfect Blue and why is it at 30 years? Like I've never heard of it. That's as old as I am. Like I should go look into this. Like
Yeah.
I know that billboards might be a bit outdated, but like they still grab your attention depending on what it is. I mean, if you drive throughout the South, you notice all those stupid fucking Jesus is watching billboards.
Bucky's
They
is only
catch your attention.
75 miles away. I
Yeah,
hate those.
Bucky's is 120 miles on your left.
God,
Look out for it.
stupid.
But
I
like
I
it's still an effective marketing
yeah.
thing, and I feel like there could be more for it, but there just isn't. Like I feel like for those special events you could do that and people would actually look into it and be informed about it rather than just have to rely on a potential email notification that you may or may not delete just straight off the bat.
Yeah. I think my final thought on it is like I completely agree with you. I think my one big wish is that Crunchyroll would actually take into consideration fan feedback.
But, like
A- a-
and that's the thing. I don't know if it is necessarily Crunchyroll not taking fan feedback and how much pressure it is from
But
Sony, because if you look at, like, the fucking video game industry right now, it's in shambles. Like, Xbox or no, I shouldn't even say Xbox, Microsoft is fucking bludgeoning and waterboarding Xbox to death right now.
yeah.
Like, they are
And
closing studios that are,
we
like yeah,
we don't
anyways.
have the insight. We don't get the behind closed doors, review or summary. I get that. I just to me as someone looking in from the outside, the one glaring issue is it feels like they're not taking consideration what the fans want. Like why have the premiere event be one night? You're not offering anything exclusive. People are eventually going to go watch the series when they come out. There's no like if you attend, there's a free plushie or pin or whatever, right? Like just offer it
Yeah.
for a weekend. What's the big deal? It's the same thing with movies. Like I made the comment way back when Look Back came out. It was out for one day at a theater that was again 45 minutes from my house. It was on like Tuesday or a Wednesday at a stupid like a 9:30 showing and the theater was packed. Like so packed and it was wonderful to watch, but horrible experience because I don't like watching a movie like that. That was outrageous. And like, but people were
Yeah.
saying, like, why is it only one night? Why are you bringing back these movies for one night? Why aren't you like Like, people wanna go see it. Do you not see the reports about, like, what the ticket sales are at theaters? Like, they must be kind of out the door for the most part. Like, there's, as you put it, there's butts in every seat. Like, it, to me, it just screams, we're doing this as, like, we want to be perceived as, like, exclusivity. Like, if you want first access, you gotta go this night. There's only so amount of tickets remaining. Good luck, Godspeed. And it's like, no, why? Like, that doesn't encourage anyone to go do it. So just
Yeah.
invest in more into that, or
And
again,
here's
at the
and
very
here's
least,
the
just
worst
listen
part.
to people.
And here's the worst part.
Oh, no.
Sony owns Alamo Drafthouse.
Yeah, you've talked about
Sony
this with,
owns Alamo Drafthouse, and
yeah.
this is the only anime things that they do. I remember seeing before Sony purchased Crunchyroll, like Millennium Actress, a Satoshi Kon movie, came back to theaters for Alamo for whatever reason. I don't even know what the reason was, but my buddy was like, "Hey, have you seen this movie?" I was like, "No, but it's on my to watch list. Let's go watch it." He's like, "Great, wonderful," and we saw it, and it was a wonderful movie. Even better for the fact that it was on the big screen. Why the fuck they don't do more with that at Alamo makes absolutely no sense to
I
me, because
you
they own the theaters. They can dictate what's in theaters. But also it does also kind of translate what you were talking about, like, oh, it's a one night only thing. There are movies that have come out recently that, like, at least for Alamo, where they are rarely, like, they're advertised maybe once, and you're like, "That looks like a great movie."
mhm.
Because, again, this just happened to me and my buddy. There was a movie, we saw one advertisement for it, we're like, "Holy shit, this looks great. This looks like basically Baby Driver, but for cracking safes." And we saw one trailer, it was out for 1 weekend. It wasn't even out for a full week, it was just a one weekend show, and we're like, we missed it, and it was just frustrating.
Wait,
It was
it's gone.
frustrating to no end, so it's like it's not even like that it just happens to anime, like, it's still happening with, like, you know, indie budget movies, like,
Yeah.
that you probably haven't heard of, like, people have heard of now, like, the bigger horror movies because they're gaining attention, but just, like, by the way, if you're wondering, the movie's called Tuner. It looked great. Again, didn't get to go see it because it was only one weekend. But, like, when I saw that this movie that's apparently it's out for longer than a week, which thank God. I'm gonna plug this one because I'm gonna see it tomorrow, and I've only heard great things. But there's a movie out, a Chinese movie out in theaters right now called The Furious, and it's one of the best action movies according to critics and fans alike
Mhm.
in the last decade, let alone like 2 decades. Like, it's just one of those things that, like, marketing is just really aligned with only the big and best thing, like, the what people think are the big and best things, but it's basically what they've invested the most money in to make. There are other things that look great that just don't get the attention. Hell, there's a fucking movie that I have a feeling is only gonna be in theaters for 1 week called The Death of Robin Hood, and it looks fucking phenomenal. And it's just like it's getting no marketing whatsoever, and I'm just, marketing boils my blood because of just how shit it is and just how fucking top heavy it is. So without further ado, I'm just gonna just say that we are not a top heavy podcast. Thank you for joining us. If you got this far, we greatly appreciate it. I don't. You said you wrapped up your thoughts, so
No, you're good.
we're just gonna sign off. Like, if I talk about marketing anymore, I'm gonna fucking blow a
I love
gasket.
how this is spiraled into a marketing conversation and talking about indie films unrelated to anime, but
I mean,
no.
it's just it's a problem everywhere, let alone with anime. Is kind of like the point
I
I'm
get
getting
it.
at. It's so top heavy
It's
that it's frustrating.
how about this? How about this? Hey, Crunchyroll, Sony, how about you find a theater that's not 5 fucking hours away from me, okay? Yeah, or just put it in multiple theaters so I don't have to drive halfway across my state to go watch something. How about that? That's all I ask for. Thank you. Bye. Love you. Kisses.
Third time's a charm. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We greatly appreciate it. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. But if you want more of us, please go follow us on social medias at Baka&Co Podcast, wherever you get your social media feeds. I've been Frankfurter. That's been Magically Average. Until next time, Spark Triumph. We'll see you then.